Have you ever felt like you just want to give up on learning English? Maybe you started out strong. You were excited. You had a plan. You even told yourself, "This time, I'm really going to do it." But then, life got busy. Work piled up. School got harder. Family needed your attention, or maybe you just felt tired. And one day, you skipped your English lesson. Then you missed 2 days, then a week, and before you knew it, you stopped. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. Staying motivated, especially when things get hard, is one of the biggest challenges for language learners. That's why in today's episode of TalkFlow English, we're going to explore how to stay motivated when learning English gets tough. This is episode 24, and by the end of it, you'll have real, practical tools to keep going, even when you feel like giving up. We're going to talk about the real reasons people lose motivation, what to do when you're stuck, and how to build simple habits that keep you moving forward, even if it's just for 10 minutes a day. Because learning English isn't a race. It's not a competition, it's a journey. And motivation isn't something you find, it's something you build. Let me start with a story. There was a young man named Marco. He dreamed of moving to the UK. He wanted to study there, to work, to build a new life. So he started learning English. At first, he was full of energy. He watched YouTube videos. He listened to podcasts. He practiced speaking with apps. But after a few months, his progress slowed. Grammar got confusing. He couldn't understand fast conversations, and when he tried to speak, he felt embarrassed. He started thinking, maybe I'm not good at languages. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should quit. But one day, he met someone, an older man from Brazil. This man spoke beautiful English, fluent, confident. Marco asked him, "How did you get so good?" The man smiled and said, "I studied every day, even when I didn't want to. Even when I was tired. Even when I felt like it wasn't working. I just kept going." And that changed everything for Marco. The truth is, motivation doesn't always feel exciting. It doesn't always come with energy. Sometimes motivation looks like this: checkmark, showing up even when you're tired, opening your English notebook even if it's for 5 minutes, listening to one podcast while you walk, saying one sentence, even if it's not perfect. Tiny actions, repeated daily. That's how progress is made, and that's what this episode is all about. So in the next parts, we'll break it down. Why we lose motivation, how to get it back, the power of mindset, daily habits that really work, personal stories from learners like you, and how to fall in love with English. Again, are you ready? Let's take that first step. Together. This is TalkFlow English. You're not alone. You're doing better than you think. And today, you're moving forward. Let's begin with something honest, something we all feel, but don't always talk about. Why do we lose motivation when learning English? The answer isn't always simple, but here are 5 real reasons why this happens. And if any of them sound familiar, know that you're not alone. Reason number 1, you're not seeing fast results. You study, you review vocabulary, you practice grammar, but you still can't understand native speakers. You still struggle to speak naturally, and you think, what's the point? Why isn't it working? But here's the truth. Language learning is not linear. It doesn't go in a straight line. Sometimes you improve slowly. Then suddenly, everything clicks. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it's not happening. Your brain is absorbing English. even when it feels like it's not. Trust the process. Reason number 2, you're comparing yourself to others. You hear someone your age speak perfect English. You watch YouTubers who sound fluent. You meet a friend who started after you, but now speaks better, and you feel behind. But let me remind you of something important. Everyone has a different journey. Everyone struggles at different times, and no one's path is the same. The only person you need to compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Did you show up today? Did you try? That's progress. Reason number 3, life got in the way. You didn't quit because you're lazy. You didn't stop because you're not smart. You stopped because life is busy. Work, school, kids, stress, illness. It happens, and that's okay. What matters is that you start again, right now, today. Even if you study for just 5 minutes, that's enough to rebuild your momentum. Reason number 4, you're trying to be perfect. You're afraid to make mistakes. You don't speak unless it sounds right. You wait for the perfect time to start learning again. But perfection is the enemy of progress. Fluency doesn't come from perfect grammar. It comes from practice, from being brave, from speaking anyway. Let yourself make mistakes. That's how you grow. Reason number 5, you forgot your why. Maybe when you started, you had a reason to travel, to work abroad, to pass a test, to speak with someone you love, but over time, you lost sight of it. So let's pause here and ask ourselves, why did you start learning English? Take a moment and really think about it. Write it down if you can, because reconnecting with your why is one of the most powerful ways to find your motivation again. Now that we've explored why we lose motivation, we can start focusing on how to get it back. In the next part, we'll talk about the mindset you need to push through hard days and the small changes that can bring back your spark. Remember, you're not failing. You're learning. You're growing. You're still here. And that means you're already doing something amazing. Now that we've talked about why motivation fades, let's talk about something even more important: how to get it back, how to keep going, even when it's hard, even when you feel stuck. It starts with a simple shift in mindset. Let me explain. Most of us were taught to think this way: you must study hard. You must be perfect. If you don't succeed quickly, something's wrong. But what if you started seeing English not as a subject, but as a skill, like learning to cook, or learning to swim, or learning to play the guitar? No one expects a beginner to cook a 5-star meal. No one expects a new swimmer to race in the Olympics. So why do we expect ourselves to speak perfect English from the start? You are not behind. You are not failing. You're just learning, step by step, day by day. This brings us to a powerful mindset: progress, not perfection. Ask yourself, did I practice today? Did I learn something new? Did I keep going, even just a little? Then you're winning. Even 10 minutes of listening, even one short conversation, even watching one YouTube video in English. It all adds up. Motivation isn't something that appears from nowhere. It grows as you keep showing up. Let me share a quick story. A learner named Pedro from Brazil emailed our channel last year. He had been studying English for 5 years, on and off. He said he often felt ashamed because he still couldn't speak fluently. But then he changed just one thing. He made a rule. Just 10 minutes a day. No pressure, no excuses. Some days he watched a video. Some days he listened to a podcast. Some days he practiced out loud while walking his dog. And guess what? After 3 months, his confidence doubled. He spoke up in an English meeting at work for the first time. He told me, "The difference wasn't in my English level, it was in my belief." So here's the mindset shift. You don't need to feel motivated to take action, but action creates motivation. It's like a fire. You don't wait for the fire to appear. You strike the match. You add a little kindling. You keep feeding it. And soon, it grows. Every time you show up, even if it's just a few minutes, you're lighting that spark again. So far, we've explored why motivation fades and how shifting your mindset from perfect to progress can change everything. Now it's time to get practical. Let's talk about daily English habits. Simple actions that help you stay consistent, even on your worst days. Here's the truth. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need 5 hours a day. You just need a few consistent, repeatable habits. And today, I'll show you 5 of the best ones. Let's go. Habit number 1. Start your day with English before social media, before the stress of work or school. Give yourself 5 to 10 minutes in English. You could listen to an English podcast while brushing your teeth, read one short news article or quote, review a few flashcards with your morning coffee. Why does this work? Because you begin your day with a win, and that win builds momentum. Habit number 2. Talk to yourself in English. Sounds strange? It's actually one of the most powerful habits. Throughout the day, ask yourself, what am I doing right now? How do I feel today? What's the weather like? You don't need a conversation partner. You just need your own voice. Speaking out loud helps your brain connect thoughts to words, and you build confidence without judgment. Habit number 3. Track your wins, not time. Instead of tracking how long you study, track what you accomplish. At the end of the day, write down, I learned 3 new words. I understood 80% of a YouTube video. I said 1 full sentence in English today. These are wins. Celebrate them. Because motivation grows when you feel successful. Habit number 4. Keep English visible. Surround yourself with small English reminders. Change your phone to English. Put sticky notes on common objects, mirror, fridge, door. Follow English accounts on social media. This turns your everyday environment into a learning space. No pressure, just passive, natural exposure. Habit number 5. Use mini challenges. Bored with your routine? Create tiny personal challenges like, I'll speak for 1 minute about my day. I'll learn 5 new slang words this week. I'll order food in English this weekend. These goals are small, but they give you purpose. They make English feel exciting again. You don't need to do all 5 habits. Start with just 1. Make it yours. And remember, habits aren't about being perfect. They're about showing up again and again. Missing a day doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. Just pick it up again the next day. You've got this. Sometimes, the hardest part of learning English is doing it alone. You open your book. You press play on a podcast. You try to speak to yourself in the mirror. But there's no teacher, no classmates, no one to say good job or keep going. That kind of loneliness can steal your motivation. But it doesn't have to. Let's talk about how to stay inspired even when you're learning by yourself. First, understand this. Being alone doesn't mean being unsupported. You're part of something bigger. Right now, there are millions of people just like you learning English at home, on the bus, in their rooms at night. And many of them feel the same things you do: frustration, doubt, loneliness. But here's the good news. You don't have to walk this path in silence. Even if you don't have a language partner, you can connect. Here's how. Join English podcasts or YouTube channels with comment sections. Follow language learners on Instagram or TikTok. Comment on English learning posts, even simple ones. Join free language exchange apps. Write one message a day in an online English forum. These little actions might feel small, but they create something powerful: community. You'll realize you're not alone. You'll see others making mistakes, just like you, and you'll start cheering each other on. That's motivation. In motion. Another way to stay inspired? Track your progress. Yes. Actually write it down. Every time you learn a new word, understand a movie line, have a short conversation, finish a lesson, write it in a notebook, or create a wins journal, or use a simple notes app, you'll start to see how far you've come, because when you feel like quitting, it helps to look back, to see that the old you, the one who was afraid to speak, is growing step by step, day by day. And finally, talk to yourself. Yes, really. If you don't have anyone to practice with, be your own practice partner. Stand in front of a mirror, ask questions, answer them. Narrate your day in English. It might feel strange at first, but soon it becomes your daily rhythm. And guess what? You'll start speaking without fear, without hesitation, because you're building trust with yourself. Let's talk about something almost every English learner struggles with: comparing yourself to others. You hear someone speaking fluently online, or you meet a friend who seems to learn faster, and suddenly you feel small, like you're not good enough. You think, they're so confident. I'll never sound like that. Why am I still struggling? Sound familiar? If so, this part is especially for you. Here's the truth. Comparison kills motivation. It steals your joy. It makes your progress feel invisible. And worst of all, it makes you forget how far you've come. But let me tell you something important. Everyone learns at a different pace. Just because someone speaks faster than you doesn't mean they're better. They're just on a different part of the journey. And you? You're doing great, even if you don't see it yet. Think of it this way. If you and I are both climbing different mountains, but we both keep going, we're both strong. We're both brave. You don't need to be first. You just need to keep moving. Instead of comparing, start celebrating. Celebrate others' progress and your own. Say, wow, they're doing well. I'm proud of them. And I'm proud of myself too. I'm still showing up. I'm still learning. That mindset changes everything. Now, try this. Pin mute the noise. If scrolling social media makes you feel bad, take a break. Focus inward. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? Set your own goals. Instead of, I want to speak like her, say, I want to speak better than I did yesterday. That's the only race that matters. You versus the old you. Also remember, most people don't show the hard parts. You see someone speaking fluently online, but you didn't see the hundreds of hours they spent practicing, failing, trying again. So don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and keep going. You've made it to the final part of this episode, and that means something important. You didn't give up. Even when learning English felt hard, even when your motivation was low, You showed up, and that is powerful. Let's take a moment to breathe and reflect on everything we've learned together. In this episode, we talked about why motivation disappears sometimes and how that's completely normal. The power of small daily habits. Just 10 minutes a day can transform your learning. Setting goals that are personal and flexible. Not perfect English, but progress you can feel. The value of community, even when you're learning alone. The trap of comparison, and why your journey is unique, beautiful, and worth celebrating. Each lesson wasn't just about English. It was about you, your mindset, your strength, your resilience. Because, let's be honest, learning English isn't always easy. Some days it feels slow, some days you don't feel smart. Some days you wonder if it's even worth it. But it is. Every word you learn, every sentence you speak, every time you try again, you're planting seeds that will grow into confidence, connection, and freedom. You may not see the results today, but they're coming. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Close your eyes if it's safe to do so, and picture yourself 1 year from now. You're speaking English with ease. You're laughing with new friends. You're reading books, watching movies, even helping others who are just beginning. You feel proud because you kept going. That future version of you, they're real, and they're waiting for you to catch up. So keep moving, even if it's slow, even if it's hard. Just keep going. If this episode helped you, if you felt encouraged, supported, or inspired, please do something simple but powerful. Checkmark. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with one other person who's learning English. Because motivation grows when we grow together. This is more than a video, it's a community. And you're part of it now. Thank you for staying with me through all 8 parts. You've done something meaningful today, and I'm proud of you. Remember, English is not just a language, it's your bridge to the world. Keep learning, keep speaking, and never forget, you are stronger than your doubts, and you're doing an amazing job. I'll see you in the next episode. And until then, don't give up. Keep going. You've got this.